Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're immersing ourselves in, well, quite a remarkable story. It's about Count Alexander Ilyich Rostov.
Yeah, fascinating figure, full of charm, wit,
Yeah.
very much part of that old imperial Russian leisure class.
And we find him in 1922 facing a Bolshevik tribunal in Moscow. It's quite the scene.
It really is. And the irony is thick. The charge initially was supposedly about a poem he'd written years ago. Where is it now? Kind of revolutionary, apparently.
But that wasn't the real issue, was it?
Not at all. The Bolsheviks, their real judgment was against, well, his entire way of being. They basically said he was corrupted because he was without purpose in their new world.
Without purpose. Wow.
Yeah, they even had this line, something like, history shows charm is the final ambition of the leisure class. Ouch.
That's a pretty harsh way to dismiss someone's life. And the sentence, it wasn't prison exactly, but maybe worse.
In a way, yeah. Lifelong house arrest. Confined to the Metropol Hotel in Moscow.
The Grand Metropol, okay.
Yeah.
But he couldn't leave.
Not one step outside. The order was clear. Step outside, you get shot. Simple as that.
Incredible. So that's our mission for this deep dive, right?
Yeah.
To explore how this man, Count Rostov,
Uh-huh.
who gets stripped of his fancy Suite 317
Okay, we're looking theater square, yeah.
and shoved into this tiny attic room, basically a servant's room in the belfry.
Mm-hmm.
How does he turn that confinement into, well, a universe?
Exactly. What can his survival over decades teach us about finding purpose, maybe especially when it feels like purpose is, forced on you by these massive inconveniences?
That idea, inconvenience for finding purpose, that feels key. Let's start right there with the physical shift. It's jarring.
Totally drawing. He goes from this huge grand space, 8-foot windows, the works,
Right.
to this cramped little attic room. You get there via this hidden back stair, a utility stair.
Like something out of a different world entirely.
Yeah, the book describes it as having this tight corner every 5 steps, like climbing a lighthouse. It's a violent shift downwards.
So how does he react? Does he despair, plot revenge?
Well, that's what's so interesting. He consciously rejects those paths. He thinks about, literary examples.
Like who?
Like Edmond Dante's The Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah.
Spends years plotting revenge. Rostov decides, nope, not for him.
Okay.
Or Napoleon on Elba, just kind of dreaming of past glories, planning a comeback. He rejects that too.
So what's his model then?
He calls it the Anglican washed ashore.
The Anglican wash ashore.
Yeah, think Robinson Crusoe.
Okay. Crusoe. Makes sense.
Exactly. Crusoe survives because he stops dreaming about rescue and just gets down to the business of practicalities, fixing his shelter, finding food, making his little world work.
So Rostov decides, okay, the Metropol is my island. I need to master this.
Precisely. He realizes his survival, his sanity maybe, depends on controlling the immediate, the tangible, imposing order on this tiny, constrained world.
But couldn't you argue that's just another kind of denial?
Mm-hmm.
Focusing on, I don't know, perfectly folded napkins while the world burns outside?
That's a fair question, definitely. But look at what he chooses to keep from his old life when he moves to the attic. They're not just random keepsakes.
Okay, like what?
Well, there are 2 high-back chairs, his grandmother's little oriental coffee table, a portrait of his sister Helena, and these delicate egret-shaped scissors that belonged to her.
Practical things, mostly. Things that define a space, maybe.
Exactly. They help him create ritual, define his personal territory, tools for structure.
And then there's that leather case. The ambassador.
Ah, yes, the ambassador. Fantastic detail. It holds 52 specialized glasses.
52?
Yep, 26 perfect pairs, each one designed for a specific drink, sherry, champagne, different wines, spirits.
Wow, in that tiny attic room. Why keep that?
Think about it. It's the ultimate statement against anonymity, isn't it? The Bolsheviks want everything to be uniform, purposeful in their way. Each of those glasses insists on specificity, on difference, on appreciating something properly. It's like his armor against the grayness.
Okay, I see. Order is resistance.
Yeah. And this focus on structure, it even extends to how he thinks about time. There's this clock.
The one from his father. The Breguet clock.
That's the one. It only chimes twice a day.
Noon and midnight.
Right. Noon is the moment of reckoning, he calls it. Did you use the morning well? Were you diligent?
And midnight.
Midnight is for wise liberty. Freedom from always checking your watch, from that modern tyranny of constant timekeeping. When your future is basically indefinite confinement, you have to create your own rhythm, right? Your own internal clock.
So the outside world is gone for him. The Metropol is the world. And that means the people inside become crucial.
Absolutely crucial. His entire social world shrinks down to the hotel staff, and this core group emerges. He thinks of them as the triumvirate,
Okay, who were they?
There's Andrei, the maître de the Boyarsky restaurant, Vasily, the concierge who knows everything, and Emil, the chef.
And eventually the Count himself joins their ranks, doesn't he? He becomes a head waiter.
He does, which is another incredible adaptation. But the relationship with Emil, the chef, is particularly great.
Tell me about Emil.
Well, Emil starts every single morning in the blackest pessimism.
Yeah.
Convinced life is grim, cold, pointless, just grumpy.
I know the type.
But then, like clockwork, 6:25 p.m. hits. The first dinner order comes into the kitchen,
Yeah.
and he transforms. Instantly becomes irreversibly sanguine, optimistic, energetic. The kitchen is his stage.
His orchestra, the book says.
Exactly. And his main instrument, this massive 10-inch chopper knife.
Just one knife?
Apparently, yes. The book claims he can do everything with it. Skin a rabbit, dice onions, zest a lemon, incredible mastery of one single tool.
That feels symbolic, doesn't it? Like the Count having to adapt, using his limited tools, his manners, his knowledge for everything in his constrained life.
I think that's exactly the parallel. Simplifying complexity down to masterful competence within limits, that's survival.
But this little ordered world inside the Metropol, it wasn't immune to the chaos outside. There were shocks. Like the wine cellar incident in 1923.
The wine purge. Yeah, that's a huge moment, really symbolic.
Well, that happened exactly.
The party decides the Boyarsky's extensive wine list is decadent. A monument to the privilege, they call it.
Okay. So they confiscate the wine.
Worse, they order all the labels to be removed from every single bottle.
All of them. How many are we talking?
The book says 100,000 bottles.
100,000.
Yeah.
Labels just scraped off. That's chilling. It's
really
deliberate erasure.
It is. It's pure symbolism. As the Count reflects, wine, especially vintage wine, is like distilled time and place. It's individuality in a bottle.
Right. Each label tells a story.
Exactly. So by removing the labels, making it all just generic red or white sold at one price, they're trying to force everything back into this sea of anonymity. It's an attack on history, on specificity itself.
Imposing their ideology even on flavor. Wow.
Yeah. But the Metropol had secrets, hidden places the Bolsheviks didn't know about, couldn't really touch.
And this is where Nina comes in, the little girl.
Yes, Nina Kulikova. She's about 9. And in a way, she's confined too, just hanging around the hotel. She becomes the Count's guide to this hidden world.
His key master, the book calls her.
Right. She knows all the backways, the forgotten rooms, these flotsam and jetsam rooms filled with old furniture.
A rooftop.
And this incredible silver service room.
Tell me about that. More specificity the regime would hate.
Oh, absolutely. It's full of things the New World has no use for, probably doesn't even recognize. Specialized tongs just for asparagus, grape scissors, and this tiny silver bell shaped like a lady that rings a high C note.
A summoner bell.
Yeah, used to call waiters discreetly. All these artifacts of a very specific, ritualized way of life, just hidden away, surviving.
Incredible. And Nina leads him to maybe the most unexpected secret.
The beehives on the roof.
Bees.
Yeah.
On the roof of the Metropol Hotel in Moscow.
Yep. He discovers them through the hotel handyman, Abram. They start having these pre-dawn coffees up there near the hives.
And they taste the honey.
They do. And at first, it tastes, well, like city honey, you know, from the lilacs in the nearby gardens, the cherry trees on the Garden Ring Road.
Makes sense. Urban foraging.
But then, something changes. The taste shifts. It becomes unmistakable.
To what?
It starts tasting of the apple blossoms from Idle Hour.
Idle Hour. The Count's family estate. In Nizhny Novgorod. Miles away.
Hundreds of miles away. An estate he hasn't seen in years, probably destroyed.
How is that even possible? That sounds magical.
It does lean into magical realism, maybe. But the conclusion they reach, the Count and Abram, it's profound. They figure the bees must have been listening to us.
Listening? What does that mean in this context?
I think it's about the power of memory, the persistence of spirit, of place, even when the physical thing is gone. The Bolsheviks took the land, they stripped the labels, but they couldn't silence the memory, right? They couldn't control the essence, maybe carried on the wind or just evoked by their conversation.
So memory itself becomes a form of resistance, a way of proving he hasn't been erased.
Exactly. It proves that his inner world, his connection to his past, is still sovereign. It transcends the physical walls.
And he keeps adapting, even finding ways to be useful to the new regime, in a strange way, like his relationship with his official, Osip Glebnikov.
Osip. Yes, the colonel. It's deeply ironic. Osip is a party official, part of the system that imprisoned the Count.
But the Count ends up tutoring him.
Pretty much. Osip needs to understand the West for his diplomatic work. So the Count teaches him French, English, Western manners, etiquette.
So the aristocrat is teaching the revolutionary how to navigate the world the revolution supposedly destroyed.
That's the irony. Osip has to deal with these foreign diplomats, these remnants of the old ways. And who better to explain them than the Count?
What do they even talk about? What do they read?
Get this. They read de Tocqueville, Democracy in America.
Wow. So the party man is getting lessons on American democracy from the Count under house arrest.
It shows how the Count, by mastering his circumstances, didn't just survive. He actually became essential, quietly influential, even within the system holding him captive. He made himself necessary.
Let's talk about legacy. Because he doesn't just survive for himself, he ends up raising Sophia.
Yes, Nina's daughter. Nina eventually leaves, disappears into the Soviet system, presumed arrested or worse. Sophia is left behind, just 5 years old.
And the Count steps in, raises her in the Metropol.
He does. She becomes his purpose in a way. She grows up there, becomes this accomplished pianist studying at the conservatory.
And she carries a physical reminder of that upbringing, right? The white streak in her hair.
That's right. From an injury when she was young, falling off something, the Count helped care for her. It's like a little mark of her unique Metropol childhood with him.
This role, raising Sophia, seems like the ultimate inconvenience he embraces.
It absolutely is. And it leads to this really profound moment later on, a conversation he has with Anna Urbanova, the actress he has a long relationship with. They talk about convenience.
Aristocratic convenience, specifically.
Yeah. He lists the things he used to take for granted as marks of status. Sleeping late, canceling plans on a whim, making people wait, total control over time, and others.
The ultimate privilege.
Right. But then, after decades, lived under the opposite of that total constraint, total inconvenience. He has this realization.
What does he say?
He says, quite simply, it has been the inconveniences that have mattered to me most.
Wow.
Yeah. The duties, the constraints, the unexpected burdens, those were the things that actually gave his life meaning, structure, value, not the easy stuff.
That really lands.
Yeah.
And maybe nothing embodies the hardship, the cost of that era, more than his friend Mishka.
Mikhail Mindich. Mishka, the poet, his lifelong friend.
Who was initially a revolutionary, right?
Yes, embraced the revolution early on, but he ends up in the labor camps for years.
And when he comes back.
He's destroyed.
Yeah.
Physically broken, gaunt, dragging a leg, mentally scarred. He's the counterpoint, maybe. Proof that not everyone could master their circumstances in that system. Some were just crushed.
And Mishka's final act. It's related to hardship, too, isn't it? This book he's working on.
Incredibly poignant. His last project is compiling this little book, Bread and Salt.
What's in it?
It's just quotes. Quotes from classic Russian literature, Gould, Tolstoy, Chekhov, all of them specifically about bread.
Just about bread.
Yeah. About hunger, sustenance, sharing, the politics of food, the sheer difficulty of just getting bread in Russian history and life. The poet, broken by the system, focuses on the most fundamental, often tragic, inconvenience of all.
It's a powerful image. So wrapping this up, the tribunal back in 1922 thought confinement would break him, corrupt him, leave him without purpose.
They got it completely wrong, spectacularly wrong.
Decades in the Metropol didn't diminish him.
No, they refined him. That Anglican ashore idea, focusing on practicalities, on mastering the immediate, it worked. He found adventure, meaning connection, purpose, all within those walls. He built a universe in an attic room.
He proved that circumstances don't have the final say.
Right. They present the challenge, but how you respond, that defines you.
Which brings us back to that maxim. The one his guardian, the Grand Duke, taught him when he was young, after his parents died. It feels like the perfect takeaway.
It really does. If a man does not master his circumstances, then he is bound to be mastered by them.
Simple, but profound. And it leaves us, and you listening, with a question, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Look at your own life, your own circumstances, big or small, maybe a grand challenge or just a daily annoyance. What are you currently being mastered by?
And what could you start mastering today? What bit of order could you impose, like the Count, to find purpose even in the inconvenience?